The government repeatedly ignores Canadians, and now it's taken Trump and these increasingly real threats to get them to take any of it seriously. So, yeah, thanks for showing up, Trudeau, just a little bit too late. Rhetoric. He's also here stating in this video, which I thought I saw this before, but maybe it's a new one. There's not a snowball's chance in HELL. I think that is a flagged word now on YouTube.
Is it really?
Yes. That Canada will ever be the 51st state. I guess we should play it, but let's hope that YouTube doesn't flag.
Let's be very clear. Conversations around a 51st state are a non-starter. It's never going to happen. But we have to take seriously what the president is saying and fold that into our thinking as we continue to stand up for Canada. I think, as I've said unequivocally from the beginning, there's not a snowball's chance in hell that Canada will ever be the 51st state. At the same time, from having worked with President Trump for over 8 years now, I can tell you that we have to take seriously what he says and make sure we're responding appropriately. And quite frankly, the response of Canadians over these past weeks has been inspiring, as people have been there for each other, people have been changing their vacation plans, people have been looking at ways to buy Canadian, to support local businesses, to diversify their supply chains to places like Europe and Asia. This is a response of Canadians who are saying, yeah, this is going to be tough, but we're going to double down on Canadian pride and standing up for each other.
What a bunch of words.
As if I've been working with Trump for 8 years. Sure, how? By running your mouth about him every step of the way? Like, Trump is a proud man. Not only that, I feel like he makes notes about everybody who wronged him or said a cross word about them, and then just waits, puts that in his pocket, and waits till it's time to get them back. And right now he's getting Trudeau back. And yet he doesn't know how to shut his mouth. It's a fascinating study in the inability to learn from one's mistakes.
And pointing out the complete ineptitude of our government to do things that benefit everyday Canadians across the board. We want our government to take action against the fentanyl crisis. We've been calling for judicial reforms to not let repeat offenders out on bail perpetually and to make our streets safe again. In addition to a litany of other things. But the government repeatedly ignores Canadians, and now it's taken Trump and these increasingly real threats to get them to take any of it seriously. So, thanks for showing up, Trudeau, just a little bit too late. Speaking of areas where the government is inept and also a little bit too late,
and not doing what Canadians want,
and not doing what Canadians want, but also what's in the best interest of not only the Canadians, but in this case, the immigrants and the new Canadians trying to come into our country, because we don't have the infrastructure, we don't have the resources, and we don't have the support for successful integration into this country. And you have record numbers of newcomers saying, actually, we're better off in our home country. So I think we're just going to go back. That's how bad it is, that you cannot get ahead. You can't find a place to live. You can't afford to eat. And so many are just saying, to heck with Canada. I'm headed back to my country of origin. This piece here comes from the National Post. Trudeau government already missing targets on pledge to bring down immigration. Sky-high population growth not likely to change without aggressive reductions, finds this report.
Now, it says, although admissions of international students have gone down dramatically in the interim 4 months, a new analysis by Desjardins finds that Canada is still accepting roughly the same amount of temporary foreign workers and permanent immigrants. And so they say, Desjardins says, we remain skeptical that the government of Canada will be able to reach its lower target for emissions of newcomers. And Desjardins added that the Trudeau government often seems to make promises that it fails to fulfill, and that immigration reduction is a prime candidate for this.
They also make promises and put forward these absurd policies and implementations without the forethought of how this will work downstream in a year or two. So this is just a fallout of their absolutely radical, nonsensical policies that are not, in any sense of the word, well thought out or executed. We see that kind of that's a repeat offense by this government.
Oh, hi, it's Ezra Levant here in Toronto with an important message because we need your help. Independent journalism in Canada is under attack. Government censors, big tech deplatformers, and the dying legacy media are all working together to maintain exclusive control on the information you receive. They don't want you to hear other voices like ours, and they really don't want you to be informed and to think for yourself. That's why the work we do here at Rebel News is so important. Our on-the-ground reporting, independent news shows, and special content you won't find anywhere else. It's all designed to give you trustworthy information and alternative viewpoints so you can decide for yourself. We don't get government money, and we are not owned by some big global conglomerate. We're funded by people just like you, so please support independent journalism and help us continue our work by subscribing and becoming a Rebel News Plus member today, right here on the page. Go to rebelnewsplus.com.